Hi everyone, it's Steve from RAQ Residents here. Now, I could talk about the £30 million indicative cladding liability we've been made legally liable for. I could talk about the £3,000 increase on our service charge because of compartmentation issues and waking watch. I could talk about how we are trying to get Barratt Homes to pay for these costs despite them paying just 9% of the fire remediation costs here. But I'm not going to today because there's something far more important, and that is in the House of Lords, Baroness Pinnock proposed an amendment to the Fire Safety Bill to protect leaseholders from being burdened by these fire remediation costs. Let's have a look at what she has to say.
My Lords, many tenants and leaseholders in blocks which have cladding, which is now known to be a serious fire hazard, find themselves in a very bleak place indeed. This amendment seeks to address that. Leaseholders have purchased flats in good faith with building surveys, mortgage insurance and building warranties in place. They have done the right thing. Now, through no fault of their own, they are being threatened with additional service charges of several hundreds of pounds each month to pay for the so-called waking watch, a 24/7 in-person lookout for potential fires. On top of that, they are being asked to fund the very considerable costs of remediation work to remove the dangerous cladding and to replace it with a safer system. Figures for some of this work that I have seen goes into the tens of thousands of pounds. How are leaseholders who already have a hefty mortgage supposed to afford, say, an additional £40,000 bill for the remediation work? During an earlier amendment, the Noble Lord the Minister referred to leaseholders being only asked to pay affordable costs.
Good point, Baroness Pinnock. And that affordability has been discussed before. Lord Greenhow was asked by the chair of the parliamentary committee scrutinising the building safety draft bill. Let's see what Greenhow had to say.
Give the committee a definition of affordable at some point, even if you can give it in writing to us.
Well, again, I think bankruptcy is very clear and defined as when someone is insolvent, but we're looking to make sure that it's something they can afford to pay, and it's not going to enable them to still live and enjoy their home.
It doesn't look like Lord Greenhow can define affordability at this point. What do you think of that, Baroness Pinnock?
I am very disappointed if that reflects the thinking of the government. Leaseholders should not be asked to pay towards remediation of problems that are not of their making in any way.
None of these are the faults of the leaseholders that are burdened with these costs. Now we have an elderly lady in our block, Adeline. Listen to what she has to say and the impact of these terrible worries on our residents.
It's our homes. Our home is where we should be safe, not in fear that we might get burned down or homeless.
And that is just shocking and distressing to watch. But we have another question. If the leaseholders aren't going to pay, who should pay? Let's go back to Baroness Pinnock.
The construction companies surely have some responsibility. The warranties that were provided on the building surely should cover errors made during construction. The people who do not have any responsibility are those who are currently being asked to pay the bills. This is not just, this is not right, and we, my lords, have an opportunity today to make the first step to remove the anguish and anxiety faced by homeowners and tenants in this position.
Well, I couldn't agree more, but I'm sure you're all wondering, what did Lord Greenhow have to say to this great proposal? Do you think he would just accept it, or do you think he found some faults with it? Well, let's find out.
This amendment falls down in three main areas, which might make the problem worse rather than better.
What did I tell you? I knew he was going to find some issues, but let's hear him out.
First, the safety of residents in their homes is of the highest priority. This is the intention behind today's bill and all the government's wider work on building safety. There are a range of options for meeting the costs of safety-critical remediation work, which will be appropriate in different circumstances. It would be irresponsible to close off one of the potential routes to funding these works.
Well, leaseholders, Lord Greenhouse thinks you are one of the routes to funding the construction industry's terrible decision to install flammable cladding on our buildings. Well, we had some good news today. The bill amendment passed the House of Lords, which is great news for all of us. So we ask that the House of Commons listens to our video and passes the amendment into law. We ask this because, as you'll see, Adeline is suffering. We are suffering here at RAQ Residents, and 1 million leaseholders affected by this crisis are suffering too. Please, remove the liability of leaseholders today. I'll leave you with Adeline to see us out. Thanks for watching.
It really hurts me, to think that all my hard-earned savings is, going down the drain. My mental state is terrible. I could hardly sleep sometimes. And I wake up, I have a nightmare, jumping up and say, oh my God, where am I,